Ever wonder how many Pontiac Firebirds had to die for one talking car to become a TV legend? Or why the most advanced car on television couldn't even drive itself without a hidden stuntman crouched in the passenger seat? Buckle up, because we're about to expose 20 bizarre secrets about KITT that even the most devoted Knight Rider fans have never heard. From train wrecks that supplied the show with damaged cars to the shocking truth about who really designed that iconic nose, these facts will change how you see the world's most famous Trans Am. And trust me, number 1 will blow your mind. Today we're counting down 20 weird facts about the 1982 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am known as KITT from Knight Rider. Before we turbo boost into this list, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into TV's most iconic vehicles. Number 20. The train wreck that built KITT. In 1982, fate intervened in the most destructive way possible. A massive train derailment sent brand new Pontiac Firebirds and Camaros tumbling off the rails like toys. These weren't just any cars. They were fresh from the factory, perfect paint, 0 miles. And now they were scrap metal. Or so everyone thought. Universal Studios saw opportunity in this twisted metal graveyard. While insurance companies wrote off these damaged beauties, the Knight Rider production team saw donor cars. Cheap donor cars. Really cheap donor cars. We're talking about acquiring what would normally be $30,000 vehicles for pennies on the dollar. The timing couldn't have been better. Knight Rider was burning through cars faster than KITT could say, "Michael, I'm detecting danger." Every jump, every stunt, every dramatic slide meant another Firebird headed to the scrapyard. This train wreck became their automotive lifeline. The damaged cars provided everything from body panels to entire chassis. Some were rebuilt into hero cars, others became jump cars destined for one final flight. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. A disaster that destroyed dozens of Pontiacs ended up creating the most famous Pontiac in television history. Without that train derailment, KITT might have been a very different car. Or the show might have run out of budget before the first season ended. Number 19. Pontiac's $1 special. Here's a deal that would make any car enthusiast weep. Pontiac regularly sold damaged Firebirds to Universal Studios for exactly $1. Not 1,000. Not 100. $1 single dollar. George Washington's lonely face was all it took to buy a future KITT. These weren't just random beaters either. Pontiac would specifically set aside Firebirds with minor damage. Maybe a dented quarter panel from shipping, perhaps some hail damage on the hood, small imperfections that made them unsellable to dealers but perfect for a show that specialized in destroying cars. The arrangement was genius for both parties. Pontiac got rid of damaged inventory while gaining millions in free advertising every week. Universal got an endless supply of donor cars for basically nothing. And the accounting department, they probably thought it was a typo. Another Firebird for $1? Really? This dollar deal became legendary in Hollywood. Other shows tried to negotiate similar arrangements but never quite matched it. Knight Rider had struck gold, or in this case, black gold with a red scanner. The relationship between Pontiac and Universal was so strong that when the show needed something special, like the Super Pursuit mode car, Pontiac bent over backwards to help. Think about it. Every time KITT crashed through a wall or launched off a ramp, that was another $1 investment meeting its dramatic end. Best dollar Universal ever spent, over and over and over again. Number 18. The KITT Graveyard. Of the roughly 20 to 25 screen-use kits built for the series, only about 5 survived. 5 out of 25. That's an 80% casualty rate. Most military operations don't have losses that severe. Where did they all go? The answer is both simple and heartbreaking. They were destroyed, crushed, scrapped, thrown away like yesterday's newspaper. After each season wrapped, Universal would assess their fleet. Hero cars might get saved. Stunt cars rarely made the cut. Jump cars? Forget about it. The destruction was systematic. Universal couldn't just sell these cars to fans. The liability was too high. Imagine some kid buying a stunt kit with weakened suspension and trying to recreate their favorite jump. Lawyers would have had a field day. So instead, most kits met their end at the crusher. Some cars were cannibalized for parts. That pristine dashboard might get transplanted to next season's hero car. Those special wheels could find new life on another kit. But the shells? They were done. No resurrection, no second chances, just compressed metal heading to the recycler. This systematic destruction is why authentic screen-used kits are so rare today. It's why collectors pay 6 figures for a verified car, and it's why the replica market exploded. Fans wanted their own cut, and with so few originals surviving, building one from scratch became the only option. The irony is thick. A car that could supposedly repair itself couldn't survive Hollywood's accounting department. Number 17, the Pennsylvania reunion, August 17, 2025, marked a historic moment in KITT history. 2 of the 5 surviving screen-used kites were reunited in Pennsylvania for a public display. Think about that. 2 cars that shared the same studio lot, that possibly appeared in the same episodes, meeting again after decades apart. These weren't just any kits either. Both were verified screen cars with documented histories. One had been in private hands since the late 80s. The other had toured car shows for years. Their paths had crossed at auctions and exhibitions, but never together. Never side by side. The reunion drew fans from across the country. People who grew up watching Knight Rider finally saw not 1 but 2 authentic kites. The differences were fascinating. Small variations in the nose design, slightly different dashboard layouts, evidence of their unique histories, and the evolution of the car throughout the series. What made this reunion special wasn't just the cars. It was what they represented. These weren't replicas or tributes. These were the actual cars that David Hasselhoff sat in. The cars that performed those iconic stunts. The cars that millions of kids dreamed about. Seeing them together was like meeting old friends who hadn't aged a day. The event proved something important. Even 40 years later, KITT still draws crowds. The magic hasn't faded. If anything, it's grown stronger. Those 2 cars in Pennsylvania weren't just machines. They were time machines, taking everyone back to Friday nights in the 80s. Number 16. The hidden driver trick. KITT could drive himself. At least that's what viewers believed. The reality involved elaborate deception and very flexible stunt drivers. The main trick? Right-hand drive conversions that put the steering wheel on the passenger side. Picture this. A stunt driver crouched down in what appeared to be the passenger seat, completely hidden from the camera's view. They could steer, brake, and accelerate while remaining invisible. From the outside, KITT appeared to be driving solo. Movie magic at its finest. Or should we say TV magic? These blind drive cars were engineering marvels. Full steering columns had to be fabricated and installed on the right side. Pedals needed relocation. Mirrors had to be positioned so the hidden driver could see, all while maintaining KITT's sleek interior appearance. It wasn't cheap and it wasn't easy. The stunt drivers who operated these cars were the unsung heroes of Knight Rider. Imagine driving at high speed while hunched over, unable to see directly ahead, relying on mirrors and peripheral vision. One wrong move and the illusion was blown. Or worse, the car was wrecked. These drivers made KITT's autonomy believable. The right-hand drive cars became so integral to the show that they built several versions. Some for high-speed work, others for precision maneuvers. Each one represented thousands of dollars in custom fabrication, all to sell the illusion that a car could think and drive for itself. The 80s were a simpler time. Number 15. The mirror gag. Right-hand drive wasn't the only trick in the book. For certain shots, the production used an even simpler illusion. A 2-way mirror. Brilliant in its simplicity, devastating in its effectiveness. Here's how it worked. A carefully angled mirror would be placed to hide the stunt driver while reflecting KITT's interior to look empty. The camera would capture what appeared to be a driverless car cruising down the road. Meanwhile, the driver sat right there, hidden by clever angles and reflective surfaces. This technique worked best for straight tracking shots. KITT rolling past the camera. Simple movements where the mirror wouldn't shift and reveal the deception. It required precise positioning. 1 degree off and viewers would see a mysterious elbow or shoulder appearing from nowhere. The mirror gag had advantages over the right-hand drive setup. It was quicker to implement. Cheaper too. No custom fabrication needed, just careful positioning and good timing. Perfect for those last-minute shots when the blind drive car wasn't available. What's remarkable is how well these simple tricks held up. Even watching today, knowing the secrets, the illusions still work. That's the magic of practical effects. They have a reality that CGI sometimes lacks. When KITT drove himself, he really was driving, just with a little hidden help from his friends. Number 14. The voice. Behind the voice. William Daniels, the voice of KITT, made an unusual choice. He refused to be credited. His name appeared nowhere in the opening titles. No mention in the end credits. As far as official records showed, KITT's voice came from thin air. Why the anonymity? Daniels worried about typecasting. He was a serious actor with a distinguished career. Boy Meets World was still years away. He didn't want to be known as the car voice guy, so he kept his distance, way distance. Here's where it gets weirder. Daniels recorded all his lines after filming Wrapped. He never visited the set, never sat in KITT, never met his co-star David Hasselhoff during production. They were partners on screen, but strangers in real life. Their first meeting, the show's Christmas party. This separation created unique challenges. Hasselhoff had to act against empty air, imagining KITT's responses. Sometimes they used a production assistant to read KITT's lines during filming. Other times, Hasselhoff worked from memory. Either way, he was essentially performing a one-man show. The post-production recording meant Daniels could perfect KITT's delivery. Every line could be tweaked, adjusted, perfected. No on-set pressure, no rushed takes. Just Daniels in a booth, bringing a car to life with nothing but his voice. The result was TV history. Even uncredited, everyone knew that voice. Still do. Number 13, the Cylon connection. That sweeping red light on KITT's nose wasn't original. It was borrowed. Stolen, some might say. From another Glenn A. Larson production, Battlestar Galactica's Cylons had the look first. That menacing back-and-forth sweep that meant trouble was coming. Larson didn't hide the connection. Why would he? He created both shows. If he wanted to give his car the same evil eye as his robots, who would stop him? The effect even gained a name in his honor. The Larson scanner. Not bad for a guy who basically recycled his own idea. The scanner became KITT's most recognizable feature. More than the black paint, more than the turbine wheels. That red sweep meant KITT was thinking, processing, being alive. It was his heartbeat made visible. His soul given form. All thanks to some killer robots from space. The technical side was beautifully simple. A series of lights triggered in sequence. No complex computers needed. Just basic electronics creating an illusion of intelligence. The same effect that made Cylons terrifying made KITT trustworthy. Context is everything in television. What's funny is how the scanner outlived both shows. Decades later, that sweeping light effect appears everywhere. Other cars, Halloween costumes, phone apps. The Larson scanner became bigger than Larson himself. Not many TV producers can claim they invented a visual effect that entered pop culture permanently. But then again, not many producers put the same effect on both robots and cars. Number 12. The changing voice box. Pay attention to KITT's voice modulator across the series and you'll notice something odd. It changed. Not evolved. Changed. Completely. Like someone swapped it out between episodes and hoped nobody would notice. In early episodes, KITT's voice indicator was a single square that blinked with each word. Simple, clean, effective. Then suddenly, it became 3 vertical bars that danced with his speech. No explanation, no upgrade montage. One day square, next day bars. That's television for you. The real reason was purely practical. The single square looked boring on camera. It didn't give enough visual interest during KITT's longer speeches. The 3 bars created more movement, more life. They could dance and pulse in ways a single square couldn't. Better television through better props. But here's the thing. Nobody complained. Viewers either didn't notice or didn't care. KITT was KITT, regardless of how his voice was visualized. The change happened so naturally that it became accepted history. Today, most people remember the 3 bars. The original square is forgotten trivia. This kind of continuity error would get torn apart today. Reddit threads would explode. YouTube videos would document every inconsistency. But in the 80s, you watched what aired and moved on. No pause button to study details, no forums to debate changes, just pure entertainment, continuity be damned. Number 11, the flying license plate. The pilot episode's most spectacular stunt became its most famous blooper. During KITT's first major turbo boost jump, something unexpected happened. The night license plate decided to abandon ship, mid-flight, on camera, for everyone to see. Watch that jump carefully. As KITT soars through the air, the plate vibrates, shakes, then breaks free. It spins away like a frisbee thrown by an invisible hand. The shot was too expensive to reshoot, too spectacular to cut, so they kept it, flying plate and all. This wasn't some hidden blooper either. It happened during the episode's climactic moment. The big hero shot. KITT proving his abilities, and there goes his identity spinning into the desert. The effects team probably died a little inside. All that work ruined by a few loose screws. What makes it better is how they handled it. Or didn't handle it. No mention in dialogue. No quick fix in the next scene. KITT lands, and mysteriously has his plate back. Television magic strikes again. Maybe KITT's molecular bonded shell included molecular bonded license plates. Sure, let's go with that. This blooper became legendary among fans. It proved even KITT wasn't perfect. The most advanced car in the world couldn't keep his license plate attached during a jump. Somehow, that made him more relatable, more real. Even supercars have embarrassing moments. At least KITT's was caught on film for eternity. Number 10. The Barris myth. Here's where things get controversial. George Barris claimed he designed KITT, put his name on it, sold replicas based on that claim. There's just one problem. He didn't design the most important parts. The nose and dashboard, KITT's most distinctive features, came from someone else entirely. Michael Sheffey was the real designer, a talented automotive designer who created KITT's aggressive nose and futuristic dashboard. His designs defined KITT's look. Without Sheffey's work, KITT would have been just another black Trans Am. But Barris had the Hollywood connections, the publicity machine, the ego. To be fair, Barris's shop did build cars for the show, especially in Season 4 when things got wild. The Super Pursuit mode cars came from his facility, the convertible KITT too. But building and designing are different things. Barris built what Sheffa designed, at least for the important stuff. This dispute matters because it's about legacy, credit, history. Sheffa's contributions were minimized while Barris became the creator of KITT in popular culture. Car shows introduced Barris that way. Magazine articles repeated it. The myth became fact through repetition. Jay Orberg was another builder whose contributions got overshadowed. His shop produced many of the cars used throughout the series, quality work, reliable cars. But again, Barris had the spotlight. In Hollywood, publicity trumps reality every time. The real designers and builders worked in the shadows while Barris took the bows. Number 9. The Lowrider. Hero. The main hero car, the one used for close-ups and beauty shots, had a secret. It sat 1.5 inches lower than a stock Trans Am. Doesn't sound like much, but that 1.5 inches made all the difference. It gave KITT a more aggressive stance, more purposeful, more predatory. This wasn't just lowering springs slapped on. The suspension was carefully modified to maintain ride quality while achieving that perfect stance. Too low and Hasselhoff would bottom out over every bump. Too high and KITT looked like any other Trans Am. That 1.5 inches was the sweet spot. Only the hero car got this treatment. Stunt cars rode at stock height for better clearance. Jump cars might even be raised for better launch angles. But when the camera moved in close, when KITT needed to look his best, out came the Lowrider. That subtle drop made KITT look ready to pounce. The hero car was special in other ways too. It had the only fully functional dashboard. Every button, every light, every display worked, or at least appeared to work. Other cars had partial dashboards or static displays, but the hero car was complete. It had to be. Those interior shots demanded perfection. This attention to detail separated Knight Rider from other shows. They could have used one car for everything, saved money, saved time, but they didn't. They built specialized cars for specialized purposes. The hero car was exactly that, a hero, 1.5 inches closer to the ground and miles above the competition. Number 8. The 6-cylinder secret. Here's something that would make purists cringe. The convertible KITT, the one from Season 4, started life as a base model V6 Firebird, not a Trans Am, not even a V8 Firebird. A basic 6-cylinder Secretary Special transformed into the world's most advanced vehicle. Why start with a 6? Simple economics. The convertible was a late addition to the series. Budgets were tight. A base Firebird cost thousands less than a Trans Am. Who cared what engine it had? They were going to modify everything anyway. That V6 was getting yanked regardless. The transformation was complete. Custom nose, full KITT interior, all the signature modifications. By the time they finished, nothing remained of that humble 6-cylinder beginning. But somewhere in KITT's molecular bonded shell beat the heart of an economy car. The irony was delicious. This reveals something about television magic. Image matters more than reality. Viewers saw KITT, not the donor car. They heard sound effects, not the actual engine. That convertible could have started as a Chevette for all anyone knew. Once the transformation was complete, origins didn't matter. But think about it, the most advanced car on television, the car every kid wanted, the car that defined cool for a generation, started as the least cool Firebird money could buy. That's either inspiring or depressing, depending on your perspective. Probably both. Number 7. The real ski mode. Two-wheel driving wasn't just a special effect, it was a real stunt. Real drivers, real danger, real skill. When KITT went up on two wheels, someone was fighting physics to keep him there. No wires, no ramps usually, just precise weight transfer and nerves of steel. The stunt required perfect speed and steering input. Too slow and the car wouldn't lift, too fast and it would flip completely. Hit the sweet spot and KITT would rise up like a trained horse. The driver then had to modulate throttle and steering to maintain the angle. One mistake meant rolling over. Professional stunt drivers made it look easy. It wasn't. Hours of practice preceded each shot. Multiple takes were common. Cars were damaged. Drivers were bruised. But when it worked, it was magic. KITT skiing through tight spaces became a signature move, all thanks to drivers willing to defy gravity. The camera angles were crucial. Shot from the right position, the stunt looked impossible. KITT threading between obstacles with surgical precision. The reality was messier. Safety crews standing by, ambulances on standby, insurance adjusters having heart attacks. But viewers saw none of that. Just KITT doing the impossible. What's remarkable is how often they use this stunt. Most shows would save it for special occasions. Knight Rider made it routine. Another episode, another ski mode. The stunt drivers must have loved and hated it equally. Job security through constant danger. At least they were making television history on two wheels. Number 6, the car cast system. Not all kits were created equal. The production used a strict hierarchy. Hero cars for close-ups, stunt cars for action, jump cars for destruction, and shells for everything else. Each tier had specific purposes, specific fates, specific budgets. Hero cars got everything. Perfect paint, detailed interiors, functional electronics. These were the stars, pampered and protected. Used only when necessary. When Hasselhoff needed to look good, hero cars made it happen. They even had their own transportation crew. Prima donnas of the car world. Stunt cars were the workhorses. Reinforced suspensions. Roll cages hidden behind panels. Stripped interiors behind tinted windows. These cars did the dangerous stuff that wouldn't destroy them. High-speed chases, precision driving, anything that required a driver and some risk. Built tough but not indestructible. Jump cars were dead cars driving. Built to fly once and die. Reinforced just enough to survive a launch. Not expected to survive landing. These were the sacrificial kits. Their entire existence led to one glorious moment of airtime. Then scrap. The production went through jump cars like tissues during flu season. Shells were the extras, background cars, partial builds for specific shots, maybe just a nose and windshield for a drive-by, perhaps a rear end for following shots. These weren't even complete cars, just enough kit to fool the camera. The bottom of the automotive food chain, but still essential for the illusion. Number 5. The crushing agreement. Those train wreck cars came with strings attached, legal strings, binding strings, the kind that meant certain cars had to be destroyed after filming. No exceptions, no loopholes, no last-minute reprieves. When the season ended, the crusher was waiting. Insurance companies weren't stupid. They knew these damaged cars could be repaired and sold. That's exactly what they didn't want. Liability issues, warranty concerns, brand reputation. So the agreement was clear. Use them for filming, then destroy them. Completely, with documentation. This arrangement fueled today's replica explosion. Fans watched dozens of potential kits get crushed while dreaming of owning one. The few survivors became holy grails, everyone else had to build their own. The crushing agreement created scarcity. Scarcity created demand. Demand created an entire industry. The destruction was thorough. Not just crushing, but shredding. These kits weren't heading to junkyards where parts might escape. They were being turned into tiny metal cubes. No resurrection possible. No parts harvesting. Just complete annihilation. It hurt to watch. Even the crew found it painful. Think about the waste. Perfectly good cars, even damaged ones, reduced to scrap. All for legal reasons. All for corporate protection. How many potential kits died because of paperwork? How many fans could have owned a piece of history? The crushing agreement was necessary, but cruel. Very cruel. Number 4. The towed truth. Here's something that ruins the magic. Many of KITT's driving dialogue scenes were filmed with the car being towed. Not driven, towed, like a broken down junker heading to the shop. So much for the world's most advanced vehicle. The reason was practical. Hasselhoff needed to focus on acting, not driving. Matching speeds with camera cars was tricky. Hitting marks while delivering lines was trickier. Solution? Put KITT on a trailer and tow the whole thing. Hasselhoff could act, cameras could get perfect shots, everyone won, except KITT's dignity. The towing rigs were elaborate, low-profile trailers that wouldn't show on camera, careful angles to hide the connection. Sometimes they used rigid bars, other times cables. The goal was invisibility. Make it look like KITT was driving while actually being pulled like a wagon. Watch those. Scenes carefully now. Notice how smooth KITT's movements are, how perfectly he maintains speed with the camera car, how Hasselhoff never seems to actually steer much. That's because he wasn't. He was essentially sitting in a very expensive prop while being dragged down the road. The irony is beautiful. A car famous for driving himself couldn't even drive during dialogue scenes. The most advanced vehicle on television needed a tow truck to have conversations. Sometimes practical reality trumps fictional capability. At least the dialogue was good, even if the driving was fake. Number 3. KITT's hidden talents. Beyond the famous features, KITT's dashboard hid some truly weird capabilities. A cash dispenser. Yes, KITT was an ATM. Apparently, fighting crime requires petty cash. Did he charge transaction fees? Was there a daily withdrawal limit? These questions were never answered. Then there were the games. KITT had built-in video games for those boring stakeouts, because nothing says advanced crime-fighting computer like playing Pac-Man while waiting for bad guys. These features appeared randomly, used once for a gag, never mentioned again. KITT's dashboard was like a Swiss Army knife designed by someone with ADD. The props department went wild with these one-off gadgets. Need KITT to print something? Add a printer. Need him to analyze food? Install a spectrometer. The dashboard became a catch-all for whatever the plot demanded. Continuity was optional. Logic was negotiable. If the story needed Kaiser to make coffee, they'd probably install an espresso machine. What's amazing is how they filmed these additions. Insert shots, extreme close-ups, quick cuts that didn't reveal the surrounding dashboard. Because often, these gadgets only existed as small props, not integrated into the actual car, just held in place long enough to film. Movie magic at its most basic. The real KITT dashboard was complex enough. Adding random gadgets made it incomprehensible, but that was part of the charm. KITT could do anything because his dashboard had everything. Even stuff that made no sense. Especially stuff that made no sense. That's 80s television logic for you. Number 2, The Survivor's Tale. One of the most famous surviving KITTs lives at the Marconi Automotive Museum. This isn't just any screen-used car. It's the actual right-hand drive, blind drive car, the one that made KITT's self-driving illusion possible. A piece of television history hiding in plain sight. This car's journey is remarkable. From studio lot to stunt work to survival against all odds. When most KITTs met the Crusher, this one escaped. Someone recognized its historical significance, or maybe just got lucky. Either way, it survived the Great KITT Purge. What makes this car special is its modifications. The complete right-hand drive conversion is intact. You can see where the stunt driver sat. Touch the relocated controls. Understand the engineering that went into fooling millions of viewers. It's like seeing a magician's props with the tricks explained. The museum displays it proudly. Not as just another movie car, but as an engineering curiosity. Visitors can peer inside and see the dual controls. The hidden mirrors. The cramped space where stunt drivers perform their magic. It's educational and nostalgic. A perfect combination. This Survivor represents all the lost KITTs. The ones that didn't make it. The ones crushed for legal reasons or scrapped for convenience. It stands as a monument to 80s television ingenuity. When CGI wasn't an option, clever engineering and brave stunt drivers created the impossible. This car is proof. Number 1. The two-wheel revolution. The most mind-blowing fact? KITT's two-wheel ski mode wasn't just a stunt. It revolutionized television car chases. Before Knight Rider, two-wheel driving was a circus trick. After Knight Rider, it became standard action vocabulary. KITT didn't just perform the stunt. He perfected it, popularized it, made it mandatory for any self-respecting action show. The influence spread everywhere. Other shows copied it, movies adopted it, video games included it. That simple stunt of driving on two wheels became part of action culture. All because Knight Rider made it look so cool, so effortless, so KITT. But here's the kicker. The stunt was discovered by accident during rehearsals. A driver took a turn too fast, the car lifted, and instead of backing off, he held it. Producers saw gold. What started as a mistake became KITT's signature move. Sometimes the best ideas come from nearly crashing expensive cars. The two-wheel driving requirement changed how they built cars. Stunt cars needed special modifications, reinforced wheels, adjusted suspension, protection for when things went wrong, because they would go wrong. Physics doesn't care about television schedules. When you're balancing a ton of car on two wheels, failure is always an option. What's truly incredible is the legacy. 40 years later, people still associate two-wheel driving with KITT. Other cars have done it better, maybe. But KITT did it first on television. He made it mainstream. That's the power of being first. You don't have to be the best, just the most memorable. And nothing was more memorable than KITT skiing sideways through impossible gaps while that red scanner swept back and forth. And there you have it. 20 weird facts about KITT that prove even the most advanced car on television was held together by tow cables, mirror tricks, and $1 deals. Which of these behind-the-scenes secrets surprised you the most? Was it the train wreck that built an empire, or the fact that KITT's designer never got proper credit? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into Knight Rider history, smash that like button and subscribe for more classic TV secrets. Hit the notification bell too, because next week we're exposing the truth about another 80s icon. Until then, keep scanning the horizon for adventure.